I'm here in Riyadh in conversation with Patrice Cauvin, Group Chief Executive Officer and Board Member of Banque Saudi Fransi. If I could begin with this as a first question, what is it that you would identify as the key challenges and opportunities that face the bank now and are going to face the bank in the future?
The challenge today for BSF is to continue the implementation of the restructuring and the transformation we did during the last 5 years in order to completely change the bank. So the challenge today is to cope with the new challenge, with the new economy in the kingdom, the new opportunities of our corporate client, new opportunities of our retail client, new opportunities of our wealth management client. And today, facing this big change in the country, given our position today, according to our position today in the market, we have many opportunities to manage the situation and to cope with the big challenge that the banking industry is facing today. I would like just to remind you something very important. Today, the bank is doing well. It's not by chance. It's because we prepare the big change of the country. We are expecting a big change in the country. And we totally restructure, transform the bank with a new business model, new international practices, in order to cross the difficulties, because we were expecting a big change in the economic environment, not the oil price going down at $40 the barrel, but a big change because personally, I strongly believe in the theory of the cycle, economic theory of the cycle. And when I came here in the kingdom in 2011, the situation was doing very well, but I was expecting some transformation. And that's the reason why we prepare the bank for the future, and not only to get a good result for 1 year and a good performance, but prepare a new BSF, because the banking is an industry. An industry is a medium long term, it's not a short term. When you look at short term in this business, you are wrong. So that's why we prepare the bank, and today, the performance, we can come later on that, of the BSF, is the result, in fact, of what we did on the heavy transformation of BSF. And I think today we are more prepared than some competition to cope with a more difficult environment.
So, would you describe this transformation as being the biggest challenge you faced since you joined the bank in 2011?
Yes. Yes. If I may, I will say something important. Before being the group CEO of BSF, I spent 15 years in Asia. Korea, in Singapore, Korea, Japan, and Hong Kong was the head of Asia, and I experienced a lot of difficulties, crisis, and so on, crisis in 1997, crisis in 2000, 2008, and you know the banking business is experience. So what I brought here is my experience of the business. And in fact, I was expecting, if I compare with the countries where I was before, a big change in Saudi Arabia. That's the reason why we went through this big transformation of BSF, because we could stay as such, but we could today face a big difficulties if we would not have totally changed the bank. So it was crazy at that time. It was difficult, it was painful, but you know it was necessary to prepare the bank for the future. It is what's happened today. We are not Superman, we are just professional, and we try to do as far as we can do as a professional to position this business on the clean way, not rush, not look for quick profit, but think about long term. Because again, I repeat, the banking is industry and service, and perhaps Robin could come later on concerning the Bank of Excellence and so on. So we have we have two phases. Industry, because you need a lot of equity to do this business, so it's like industry. Secondly, because the strategy, so the medium term, we cannot change and perform for one year. And thirdly, is the quality of the service.
Well, we've seen the oil price on a roller coaster ride in the last few years. How's that affected the bank?
That was not expected. It was expected a change on the economic situation, a change of a turnaround, but not a so quick change in the economy in Saudi Arabia. Why? Because, in fact, the economy of Saudi Arabia before the oil crisis, the oil crisis, the drop, was flooded by the liquidity and the wealth and the resources provided by the oil at 80, 100 US dollars a barrel. And there was a lot of projects. So it was finally, the business was going well because all our clients was benefiting of a big contract, mostly construction, infrastructure, and so on. And of course, the situation was going pretty well. Suddenly, the source of
the tap got
turned
off.
Yes, the tap closed. So suddenly, the business changed, and our good client, big client, suddenly did not have any more project and contract. This affected our portfolio, and of course, brought us to change our approach in terms of risk and so on. I can come back on that if you want, but also to look for new clients. So we did not say, okay, that's a problem, what do we do? We change our strategy, try to be more active and more present, and more become a lead bank with the big companies in Saudi Arabia, which are not in the contracting business. But to be honest, the business, most of the business was at that time flooded by this liquidity and the big project we have in the country, and the country was a fantastic big field of construction everywhere and so on. And suddenly, of course, you can mention the name of the big group like Bin Laden, so DOJ disappear. Or are today in a very bad shape without not any more contract. That was sudden, and we have to maneuver quickly, but fortunately, we were prepared for this change, and BSF is a middle-sized bank. So it means we can maneuver quite quickly, and we do not have so much fat and resistance to quickly change the direction of the boat.
How important do you think Vision 2030 is going to be to the development of the Saudi economy?
The Vision 2030 is difficult to comment because it's a very long-term project.
But it's not, it's only 13 years.
Yeah, but it's a long project. The purpose of this project is to, of course, to transform the economy. To transform the economy from an oil economy to a non-oil economy, and to, of course, boost the role of the private sector. To be honest, in the past, the private sector was not really so much supported. I think it's a family business and so on. And now we discover that we need to have a more dynamic private sector. So it is an opportunity for us, of course, and we will play on that. Of course, the purpose is to rebalance the source of revenues and to be less dependent from the oil resources. It is a big project because it's a transformation. Transformation is not on the paper. Transformation is people. The organization of the country, the people, the habit, the culture. So it's a big challenge, but there is no choice. There is no choice. So there is one choice: is to transform, is to change. It is the challenge, I think it's totally, it could work. Perhaps could be better to have done this kind of change before the crisis, because today it's a little bit more, the maneuver is more difficult. But there is no choice, and Saudi Arabia being a G20 country, is a big country, cannot only depend on oil resources, because you don't know what will be the future, and the oil is not forever. So this challenge, this Vision 2030, is the change of business model of the country. We change, the country is changing our business model. And this is painful, and I think it will be more difficult. People should understand that the change is very pain. It's very pain. I will not mention what Churchill used to say, pain, tears, and blood. But the change is very difficult. No, change is very, very difficult. It's very easy to talk about change and to have a long seminar and meeting about how to manage a change. The problem is, how could you manage a change with your team and your people, and to make sure the people change, and the people, because it's not only one person, it's not because we say we want to change, it's everybody has to change. And it is, for me, a very, very big challenge, but there is no choice, my opinion.
What opportunities is that going to bring for the bank, though, if this transformation...
There is a lot of opportunities. In the world, you know, as the Chinese used to say, crisis means opportunities. If you consider, you have two options. You say, okay, the problem, difficult, what do we do? What do we do? It's not an option. You have to clearly accommodate and think about the new opportunity you have, and of course, accommodate your business to this opportunity. We talk about the private sector. Private sector is an opportunity. Talk about but we don't talk about the financing of the economy done before by the government. Today, it will be done more by the private sector, by the bank, by the financing from the project, self-liquidating project, and so on, like project financing and so on. So it's a change, and it's an opportunity for the bank to be there and to leverage on this change. The banks are, in economy, is very important as actor. The banks are actors. They are part of the game. So they have to accommodate to the game. The game is changing. We have to accommodate and to be ready to come to our client with new solution, new financing, new services. The retail banking in the country will change a lot. Saving products. There is no saving products today in Saudi Arabia because the culture is to spend money. Ramadan time we go mall and so on. Enfin, stupid example, but there is no culture of saving. Today, it's a need to change, to save for the education of the children, for the future, for retirement, whatever, the pension and so on. So we are working on that at BSF to prepare saving products and so on with our retail banking. It is an opportunity. Before, the retail banking was mostly providing consumer loan, home loan, and so on. Now we have to think about products which will fit with the future, and of course to take into account of the population. The population of Saudi Arabia, is very young. 50% of the population is below 30 years old. So we have to accommodate our business also for the retail banking for this new generation. So you see, as far as corporate is concerned, as far as the retail is concerned, we have opportunities. It will be more difficult than in the past, more difficult for sure. But I think if we are well organized, we can be successful.
How will the issuances that are going to come in terms of new bonds and privatizations going to affect the financial environment? Because would these be vehicles for the savings products you mentioned?
It could take a long time to develop this part of the discussion. There is a need today in Saudi Arabia to have a debt capital market. It is not the case today. When you talk about Sukuk, for instance, Sukuk, we distribute the Sukuk to, let's say, 20, 25 investors. That's it. You talk about the deposit. There is still mountains of deposit in the private account. So what's important is to make sure that the Sukuk could be distributed through the retail network, which is not the case today. The Sukuk, when you are capital, so different capital, we issue Sukuk, we distribute the Sukuk to major investors like Gozi, PIF, I don't know, PPA, whatever, which are the big investors, sovereign funds, but it's a limited case. So, and there's a need now to, of course, offer to the population, to the citizen, to the country, access to the bonds, like is the case in Europe and so on. Because why this deposit in the branch, in the account, useless? So that's important, is to plug this retail deposit from the retail to the financing of the economy. And today it is one of the challenges of the country also, and it is within, I think, should be within the Vision 2030, to make sure that the capital market, the financing activities, is also reorganized. My opinion, I'm not, is we need in Saudi Arabia a big bang. A big bang means a new organization of the Tadawul, debt market, equity market, debt market, and so on. It is very important to change the way the economy is financing, because we are talking about long-term projects. So Sukuk is totally, of course, qualified for financing the long-term project, it's bonds, but you have to find the investors, and the investors are not only the big sovereign funds and so on. So that's a question which is important, because, and I strongly believe and support and hope that we will review the capital market to make sure that the bank, for instance, can sell their assets to the individuals, like in the US. In the US, the banks do not keep in their balance sheet their loan. They package and they sell. The principle of the securitization and so on. We need to have a securitization in the country and so on. So there's a lot of work to facilitate or to change the way the bank will in the future provide finance.
Well, if you have, it's partly changing the way the bank provides finance, but it's also creating a functioning, developed capital market, yes, which has two effects. One is it becomes a place where companies can go to raise funds to invest. Exactly. And it also becomes a place where investors, and that doesn't mean necessarily the big investors.
No, the private, exactly. And it is the whole, and this cash which is sleeping in the account should be forwarded to the financing of the economy instead of being in the bank accounts.
Looking top down now. The economic outlook for the whole region, what are your views on the outlook for the Middle East as a whole?
No specific idea. What I would say, we did not talk about it, but I am very concerned about is the risk. Because the banking business is a risky business. And sometimes we forget it. We think that the business, we provide loan, and the business is very dangerous. It's a very risky business. And for the time being, I did not mention that before, but I would like to take the opportunity to mention that in difficult situations, we slow down. And it is what we are doing in BSF, not this year or last year. We start 4 years ago to slow down the development of our balance sheet, because when you are too hot, when you go too fast, you take more risk. At the end of the day, you are catch up. You are catch up, and because you have the risk there. So today, I don't know what happened in the region, but we see every day the change, Qatar and so on. It will impact, of course, our business in Saudi Arabia. We have some clients which are impacted by their position in the Qatar market. They have not anymore business and so on. But I hope, my hope that the region will be, situation will be calm, and the country could work on develop their business properly. But of course today we have to be very cautious on the risk.
I was recently told by one banker that there is what he would only describe as a tidal wave of regulation coming at the banks. What are your views on that?
It's not new. It's not something new. It's not something new. When I came here, sorry, but when I came here in 2011, I was surprised when I discovered the way the banking industry in Saudi Arabia was working. Balance sheet was not an issue. Oh, no problem. Loan, spread, very thin spread. The issue was to make money, to make revenues. It doesn't work like that. I was expecting, of course, and that was the purpose of the restructuration, and Sameh knows that. And that's why I bombard the people in the bank about that. It was the question, I was expecting a big change in Saudi Arabia concerning the regulation, and mostly the Basel III, sorry for this jargon in French, Basel III regulation, which is tightening the equity, made the equity more expensive. And you cannot ask to a shareholder to every year to put more equity if you want to develop the business. So my concern was, of course, to review the organization of the bank given the change of the regulation. I was expecting a big change. It is what happened. It is what happened. Because now, well, you can see, and it was the purpose of the business model we put in place, the cross-selling, to reduce, as far as we can do, the consumption on balance sheet, and to develop the off-balance sheet business, which is capital market, which is GMG, global market, group, trade finance, and so on, in order to reduce the pressure on the balance sheet. So I'm not Einstein, but I was expecting that because why? Because I experienced that in the past in other countries. So I was expecting a tight regulation. And being G20 members and part of the Basel, of course, committee, Saudi Arabia is implementing the rules. So it is not a surprise because it's a surprise that they are now in the loop with the other developed countries, but it's not a surprise because the rules, the regulation is for everybody, and Saudi Arabia want to implement and perhaps more than some countries, because when you look at the capital adequacy ratio, is more tough, and the regulation here is more tough than the other countries concerning the capital, concerning the loan to deposit, the liquidity, concerning the provision, and so on. So it's not, to be honest, I'm not, but I was not surprised. I was expecting that, and it was the purpose of this restructuration of the bank, to prepare the bank for the future. And the business model, based on the cross-selling, means for one client, we need to develop many products, many products, and not only the lending business. Lending business should be a part of the business, but not below 50% of the business.
Right. Just how competitive is the banking marketplace in Saudi Arabia?
It's a very competitive market. I'm talking about the corporate. It's a very competitive market. We benefit of, and it is, of course, because of the past, on the culture, of the DNA of BSF, we benefit of the fact that we are more a corporate bank than the retail bank. So we have, of course, we have a strong position in our client, but we are challenged every day because most of the banks in Saudi Arabia start being a retail bank. Then they want to do more in the corporate banking. We are more corporate, but we try to develop the retail banking today. But we can see the competition, but the competition for me is important. It's not only because you bring the credit as a low spread and you try to get the business because you come with a lower spread than our competitors. And this is why I want to, if we can have some moment on that, talk about the Bank of Excellence. We want to be the best quality. The culture, our culture is the bank of clients. We are long-term relationship. And what we want to do is to serve the client, be more a service provider, quality of the service. When there is a loan, the client doesn't wait for 6 months to get his loan. When he needs to issue bonds, to have the bonds quickly. So to react quickly, to act and react quickly with the client to bring the better service. In order to do that, for our top 100 clients, we have about something like 10 senior bankers, people who are high quality relationship manager who are in charge of the biggest client of the bank in order to serve them in the best way. Because the client first is not only to come with a loan, is to come with a solution and to have a bright relationship manager to anticipate what the client wants and what our culture and what I'm implementing with our team, act, no react. We talk about Sukuk, visit the client before that he announced he will go for Sukuk. Come with a solution, not wake up when suddenly you heard that they will go for a Sukuk. I'll give you an example. So it is, our culture really is service. And I come back on that, industry and service. Industry, I talk about the balance sheet and so on, the equity. Now the service makes a difference. What is, Robin, the difference between the 5 years loan, bullet repayment, between the bank X and the bank Y? Same. The difference is the quality of the person you are with you. You are a client of a bank, you come to your bank. If the guy understands you, what you want and so on, you ask a home loan, 10 years, he comes to you and says, sorry, I can give you only 30 years. Who is this guy? So you have to understand really what the client wants and to be really know your customer.
You are talking something that is very dear to my own heart, and that is the concept that banking ultimately is a service industry.
Exactly. You have to be at the service of your client, to be dedicated to your client, and to understand what they want. The quality is important because the long term, I don't want to drop names of clients we have who are very happy with BSF because we have the answer to their question. We know them. And the basic on this business is know your customer. Know your customer, know their strategy, know their balance sheet, know what the organization of the shareholder and so on. Know your client. And it is the way we work today. So we are don't want to be number one, number two, the big guy. We will never be the big guy. We want to be the best in what we do today and to be recognized by our client as the Bank of Excellence.
Is BSF itself likely to be looking to issuing Sukuk or bonds into the market?
For the time being, we do not we do not need for the time being. We have enough equity today. Perhaps we'll go for the perhaps we go for Sukuk to leverage a little bit our equity, but it's not today we do not need because development of our balance sheet today is quite slow. Because the market condition, the growth rate in Saudi Arabia today is something like 0.1, 0.2%. So there is no need. But what is important is, again, I experienced many crises. And you know, when I was in Asia or in Singapore in 1996, the crisis, the financial crisis, start in July 1997. And why? Because all the crazy banks were growing at double digit their growth of their portfolio, and I could see the damage. So For me, yes, there's a market. We have to grow with the market, but to be very cautious, very selective. Be ready to reduce the speed of development of your revenues to protect your bank and the provision. It is what we did at BSF. We grow our balance sheet, our loan by average 5-6% a year. When the market was growing average 13%, 1-3, and some of our peers here will not of course provide the names, increased by 18%. So these people today are in bad shape because they pay for it. So we voluntarily were very prudent, very conservative in order to protect the bank for the medium long term. And today, and you will see the result for the first half or 17, you will see that in fact we BSF benefit of one of the lowest cost of risk in the kingdom because we were very, very conservative when everybody was driving like mad. That is very important. That, I insist again, the risk is part of the P&L of the bank. So you have the revenues, the cost, operating income, then provision. So if you have a mountain of provision, you can stay at home, it's finished. So that's very important, and it is what I implement here, the risk culture. I'm mad of that, I'm crazy of that, because I consider the risk is the biggest issue we are facing in the bank.
Is that going to be always the case? I guess it is. But how is the business of banking going to change? There's always going to be an issue over managing risk. There's always going to be an issue over managing the balance sheet. Those aren't going to go away. But how is banking going to change?
Now, what is important, you mentioned many times, and I know you are keen on that capital market. Bonds, if it is done properly, I mean sukuk, it means you bank, you have no balance sheet because you transfer the risk to the investor. And of course, you serve your client because you come with a solution, which is a financing, but not a financing through a balance sheet, it's a financing through the bonds, the sukuk. I am promoting that, of course, because it will reduce the pressure on the balance sheet. And again, I think I am highly supportive of the development of the bonds market here, the sukuk market, because it will help, of course, to diversify the risk for the bank, because the bank cannot only bear all the risk on the country. That's important. That, of course, a big change that I expect in the future, because I strongly believe that this and other instrument, that instrument, will help. And if we can, for instance, make securitization for our assets and so on, it will help us also. We do not need to have a big balance sheet. We do not need to have a big balance sheet. It's risky. And today, in the past, it was not an issue because the situation was wealthy. But today, we are more in a risk zone, and we have to pay attention on that. That's why the debt market for the bank is a solution to reduce the risk and to distribute the risk of the investors, and in the meantime, to reduce the pressure on their balance sheet.
That's the framework of the bank, but banking as an industry is changing. You've talked about some of the ways it's changing and some of the ways that you need to keep up with it, but how do you see banking as a business changing in the future?
The banking business in Saudi Arabia will have to change and to be more, again I repeat, more on the solution provider, bringing a solution to a client, and not only on the balance sheet. The balance sheet is not the only way to develop the business. The culture, when I came here, I was surprised to see that the banks were more on the commercial banks. Banks, again, is doing a lot of services and products, not only loan. And the challenge of the bank in the country is to become more, because our clients are getting more sophisticated. When you deal with a corporate, the big corporate here, you can see the CFO, the treasurer, they are educated all over the world, in the US and so on, in Europe. And they have, today, they are very high qualified people, so you have to accommodate your business. You cannot, it's not like in the past. So the bank will be always be a bank, but they have to change the way they work, the work they provide, the relationship with our client, not to, excuse me, cheat on their balance sheet, not to use stupidly the balance sheet, and of course to provide products more like equity capital market, more debt market. We have Saudi Fransi Capital to do that. I am keen to develop the business with Saudi Fransi Capital because it's for me, it's a relay of the bank. So there's a long way to go, of course, but I think as far as BSF is concerned, we move in the right direction. We'll continue to do it. I did not talk about, of course, the efficiency. We need to be more efficient, our process should be more industrialized, to be more cost-minded, to be. We have a lot of work to do to make our organization moving fast and with more productivity and efficiency. So there is a lot of work to do, and what happened today, it is for us an opportunity because we work on the change, and we continue to work on the change.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Robin.